Indie Mogul.
Welcome to this week's Movie Math. Today is all about the crazy Golden Globe nominations, and we're going to take a look at the main film categories. Plus, as always, a look at the weekend box office. Now let's get started. So this week, the Hollywood Foreign Press Association announced the nominations for the 68th Golden Globes. For years, the Golden Globes have ridden the coattails of the Academy Awards, almost acting as a precursor to the main event, with those winning Golden Globes tipped to win Oscars. However, recently the ratings race has warped both awards shows. Since the Academy's management has little sway over nominees and winners, which are picked by the thousands of industry professionals that make up the Academy, the management there must resort to stunt host casting to shake things up. Hence this year's pick to have James Franco and Anne Hathaway co-host. But the Hollywood Foreign Press Association has no such checks and balances. They can nominate whomever they want, and while normally with great power comes great responsibility, these days it seems with great gifts comes a great number of nominations. Yes, Ricky Gervais's joke about being able to buy a Golden Globe last year got such a big laugh because it's indeed rumored to be true. So as we go over this unbelievable list of nominations, keep these facts in mind. Now, the Golden Globes is a little different from the Academy Awards as they split the nominees into two categories: drama and musical or comedy. Here are the nominees for Best Picture, Musical or Comedy. The only legitimate picks here are The Kids Are All Right and Alice in Wonderland. However, while I'm all for recognizing the accomplishments of mainstream film, it seems rather odd to have The Tourist, Red, and Burlesque as any kind of Best Picture nominees. The most likely reason here is the average age of the Hollywood Foreign Press Association member. An older group, they've picked a movie that mimics the glamour of old Hollywood, a movie where the over 50 set prove they've got what it takes to be action stars, and a musical starring Cher, who in her heyday was actually a very respected actress. But still, the more bold choice of putting Kick-Ass, Scott Pilgrim, or even Toy Story 3 in here would have made more sense and done a better job of boosting ratings. The Best Picture Drama nominees is a more respectable group, yet it's a shame True Grit had to be sacrificed for The Fighter. In fact, True Grit, which has been high on the awards radar, was ignored entirely, while The Fighter, which has been low on the awards radar, has the second highest number of nominations. We'll find out soon whether or not this will affect either's Oscar chances. For Best Actor, Musical or Comedy, it looks like Johnny Depp is becoming the Sean Penn of the Golden Globes. The Alice in Wonderland nod makes sense as he drove that film to the top of the box office, but the Tourist nod just seems like overkill and a transparent bid to make sure he shows up for the telecast. And if the HFPA is trying to think outside the box here, Paul Giamatti and Kevin Spacey seem like uninspired throwaway choices. Jake Gyllenhaal for Love and Other Drugs is a little more interesting, yet this movie didn't connect with critics or audiences. For Best Actor Drama, this is looking more like what the Oscar nominee list will look like come January. Any of these guys could take the gold, save perhaps Mark Wahlberg. Best Actress nominees are always tough, as Hollywood has so few choice roles for women these days. So if an actress makes an overt play for a nomination, she'll usually connect. But in musical or comedy, the strangest nominee would have to be Emma Stone for Easy A. Sure, her star is on the rise, but that's what presenters are for. Annette Bening and Julianne Moore are easy, no-brainer choices, while again, Anne Hathaway shouldn't be nominated for the same reasons Jake Gyllenhaal shouldn't. Meanwhile, it seems very odd to nominate Angelina Jolie for The Tourist when her turn in Salt did so much for women in the action genre. In drama, Halle Berry and Nicole Kidman made these movies simply to be nominated, and the HFPA complied. Both women already have gold statues though, so they're more filler. Junior versions, Natalie Portman and Michelle Williams, are actually good picks and have been due for a win for a few years now, so either could this year. And it's nice to see Jennifer Lawrence didn't slip through the cracks for indie hit Winter's Bone, but will she make the cut for the Oscars? With the Best Supporting categories, these are not split into drama and musical or comedy because I guess the telecast can only run so long. For Best Supporting Actor, these are all valid nominees, and while it would be nice to see one of the newer guys take it, don't be surprised if the older skewing HFPA honors one of their peers instead. On a side note though, the only real surprise in this category is that Andrew Garfield is here over Justin Timberlake, and it will be interesting to see if the Oscars make the same choice. And for Best Supporting Actress, there are no real surprises either, as the pickings are so slim that those tipped for a nom got one. So, how do you feel about the Golden Globe nominations? Embarrassing or bold? And do you plan to watch the ceremony? Write your thoughts down below. It was not the end of line for Tron Legacy this weekend, as it opened in the #1 spot, taking in $43.6 million. That's not quite Avatar money, which opened the same weekend last year, but it still gives the Disney tech action flick a very solid shot at being profitable. The question is, will Tron Legacy have legs like Avatar, or be de-rezzed by word of mouth, which has been lukewarm? But regardless, between Pandora and the Grid, clearly blue is the new green. Opening in second place is Yogi Bear with $16.7 million, making for a rather light picnic basket. By comparison, Alvin and the Chipmunks opened with $44 million 3 years ago. Perhaps Boo Boo / Justin Timberlake should have done a few song and dance numbers. As for the rest of the box office, The Chronicles of Narnia: The Voyage of the Dawn Treader is doing far from magical business at the box office. Its international numbers have a little more spark, but not much. Looks like Walden Media broke their franchise and can't fix it. Meanwhile, The Fighter went wide and was boosted by all those Golden Globe nominations, pulling in a solid $12.2 million. Not bad for its first major round at the box office, considering it only cost $25 million to make the film. But Golden Globe nominations couldn't help The Tourist, which looks to be doing a very glamorous belly flop into the canals of Venice. Black Swan, though, continues to be on fire, putting other movies to shame as it heats up just 959 theaters. If you're still waiting to see Natalie Portman's horror ballet porn, you're in luck as it goes wide on Friday. And finally, how do you know your movie is a big flop? If it opens at number 8 with just $7.6 million. That's how. This is particularly embarrassing for the movie's cast, as almost half of the film's massive budget is their salaries. I hope they've saved their money, as it's unlikely they'll be getting checks that big again. And that's this weekend's box office. As always, thanks for watching. And be sure to vote in BTT's Top 10 Movies of 2010 poll via this link. You can vote through midnight tonight, December 19th. The results will be shared in a special New Year's episode. I'm Grace Randolph, and we just did some movie math.
Subscribe, comment, rate it.